my friend who actually had approached me and said, I see your light is dimming. And you're
Mm.
the kind of person that when your light is shining, it is so bright that it lights up the room and everyone wants to follow you. You have an idea, and we're like, yes, let's do that. And she said, I think your light is dimming. So I need you to find it again because your light is what I look to for inspiration and what everyone here looks for to inspiration. And so I kind of like took it home, thought about it, picked up a book. The book that I read is called Orange Frog, which y'all should read. It's part of Sean Encore and the Happiness Advantage. And it's all about gratitude and being different. And the Orange Frog was different. And you have to read the book. I'm not going to reveal the ending, but the Orange Frog was different. So it was a really short book, 93 pages. I read it. And then I woke up at 5 o'clock the next morning and I went for a bike ride. And I rode my bike for like an hour and a half. And I was just thinking. And I was thinking and thinking and thinking about what my friend said. And I thought about the orange frog being different. And so my chapter is about me being different. I've always been this person ever since I was in kindergarten, since I was 3 years old, 4 years old. I've always been the person that people are like, what is wrong with her? Why is she so happy? Why is she so hyper? Why is she smiling all the time? And literally, people would tell me, what's wrong with you? Why are you so happy? And especially in places of work, right? So I've been in the workforce for about 31 years, give or take. And especially in the world of work, people would literally say, like, this place is going to wear you down. You can't always be happy. Like, it's miserable here. We're going to make you join our club. And so everywhere that I went, I'd be like, okay, well, like you all can be miserable, but I'm going to show up all day, every day and be the best version of my self. I'm going to do the best I have with what I was given, something a lesson my mom taught me, do the best you can with what you have, make the day a better day, and then, you know, just do the best you can. And so that's kind of what my chapter is about. It's my chapter about me thinking about how I could step into my greatness, how I could light my own light. And by doing so, by consequence of me lighting my light, is helping other people to light their light. And that's what I do. I'm a leadership coach, a leadership developer. I teach about reframing, resetting, and rising. So,
That's really cool. And man,
yeah.
such a powerful story around just being different and how people can see that as like weird, and I get that because they're yeah, a majority of people you will see them looking kind of down and then like especially in the workplace, I know when I used to, work at a job, majority of people were not very happy, and that could be very contagious. I know for me it was contagious at one point. I was one of those miserable people too, I would have seen you, I would have been like, oh, I'm so miserable, like I would have been that grumpy guy. But but I like how you were able to not allow that external to affect you and the way that you are. Tell us like about some of the challenges along the way, by you being you. What were the challenges that you had during this story? And so yeah, mention to us a little bit about that and how you overcame that.
Yeah. So as I was putting it on paper, I was having difficulty sort of thinking about it. And I kind of think about the Clark Kent Superman analogy or the Wonder Woman analogy, right? Like they are so awesome. Like Wonder Woman is amazing. One of my heroes growing up, I used to watch the Wonder Woman, right? The little chin, the turnaround and the lasso, right? I was like, I want to be Wonder Woman when I grow up. And it was like, she would literally dress up to have a government job and show up with her glasses and her suit and take notes like during the day
Yeah.
because being Wonder Woman was like not allowed. Like you have to cover your identity. And so part of this is about us all having a superhero cape tucked inside. And, our superhero cape, we don't want people to see it because it's different. And so for people to sort of come to terms with what is your gift. And I came to terms, like I dug deep, I talked to everybody I knew, and I was like, what's my gift? What's my gift? And they're like, I don't know. I think your gift is talking. I'm like, well, I don't know. I think your gift is helping. I don't know. I think like, I finally came to terms with the fact that I love seeing other people's light and finding their light and watching it light. And I love like when I'm on stage and I see the light bulb go up and people go, ooh, that's me. And so part of the difficulty that I had was literally identifying what is it that I did because I just like bebopping my way through life. Like, every job I've ever had has been awesome, amazing, wonderful, fabulous. Every job I've ever had, I've always loved the people I've worked with. They've always been awesome, amazing, wonderful, fabulous people. Does that mean that there's that negative? No. I just choose not to focus on it, right? So I choose to focus on the good people that I work with, the good mission that we're serving, the good purpose that we have, the outcomes that we're trying to convey. And I choose to focus on the people that fill my bucket. So people who are positive in my life, I associate more with. And those of you who I've met for the first time this month know who you are because I've gone and had coffee with them and lunch with them because I'm like, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're positive, you're fabulous, you're inspirational. We should hang out. And so it took me a while to be okay with that, which sounds really weird, right? People were like, "Why are you meeting strangers for lunch?" And I'm like, right, that's
Why
different.
not?
What,
Yeah.
what it's like people question that my motives, and I kind of sort of decided that my motives are my motives, and what fills my bucket, and what my gift is my gift. And I don't have to always be Wonder Woman hiding, her superpowers, or Clark Kent hiding his cape. I could just literally walk around as Wonder Woman or literally walk around as Superman and just be that person that I am. And so I decided that going through that struggle of hiding, why are you so loud? Why are you so friendly? Why do you talk so much? I just do. Like, I'm
Yeah.
51 years old and I was born this way, and the
Yeah.
Lord does not make mistakes, and he or she or the Lord or the believer or the creator or whoever, is out there calling the shots made me to be the person that I am. And if
Love
that's
it.
the person I was made to be, then I should be perfectly imperfect with that person. And so I think we all struggle with that. I think we see people and we're like, oh no, that person's got it together. Oh no, that person doesn't have insecurities. I had somebody tell me recently, like, well, we can't all be like you. We're not, some of us are insecure. I'm like, oh, I'm insecure.
Right?
We
Yeah.
we can't all, what did the other person tell me? I had another person tell me recently, we can't all be like you. Some of us care what others think. You don't care what others think. And I'm like, okay, unfair. I totally care what people think. The difference is I choose to not let that be my core. So
Ooh.
my core of who I am is who I know I was meant to be. I know that I'm a good person. I know that I go to sleep every night and I think about the great things that I did in the world. I know my husband, my kids are awesome, amazing human beings, my family. I take care of them, my neighbors, I watch out for them, my community. And I know that at my heart, that's who I am. Am I perfect? No. Am I perfectly imperfect? Yes. And so I do care what people think, but I choose to not let that be the driver. I do say negativity in the world, but I choose not to let that be my driver. I do see negative things happening at work and in the workplace and in the world, but I choose not to let that be my driver. I choose to reframe, reset, rise through the power of who I am and the possible possibilities, right? Like future generations will benefit from me being the best version of myself. So, yeah, so that was
Absolutely.
my challenge is like me, like, and I think a lot of us are. My challenge is me, like listening to my inside voices and,
Mhm.
directing them.
Yes, yes. And no, I love that you were able to work through that. And even, like you said, even though you do, yeah, yeah, I care about what people think, but you don't allow that to determine like your moves and what you do. And some people, they do allow what other people think to determine what their next move or their next action or what they're going to say next to determine that. So for the person out there that has trouble with that, but to the point where they are not showing their cape, that they are not being themselves. What could you give us maybe one or three tips? I'm kind of being selfish here. I want to hear this because I'm also learning here. So I'm going to take some of your tips here that so I can learn too, because I'm always learning from the people that I interview. I always love learning. I'm always a learner. So
I
what would you
love
say,
it.
like, for those people out there that are like, hey man, like, Diane, I struggle with caring about what people think to the point where I can't do anything. I can't show my cape. What advice would you
Yeah.
give to those people?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not in the business of giving advice, but love that you asked. However, I will tell you what science tells us, and I will
Mhm.
tell you what I've discovered through science, right? And so what science tells us is that the way that our brain has developed, right? The way that the habits that we have developed, the limiting beliefs that we have, the voices inside our head, those are all products or byproducts of our upbringing, our environment, our societal norms, right? And so from a very early age, before we even having any recognition of it, so like from being 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year olds, 4 year old, 5 year olds, we have become habits formers. So we've taken in information and inputs, right? As we're little kids learning to walk, learning to talk, learning to navigate the world. And then from a very early age, those habits become our inner voice. And then we get to be 5 year old, 6 year old, 7 year olds, right? We start to go through adolescent and, puberty and hormones and things. And we take in all this other inputs and they become our inner voice. So then what many of us as adults do is we take those inner voices and those habits as
Mm.
fact and fact of being and fact of existence when truly they're just sort of inputs that we've sort of gathered along the way. So in other words, if you had family members or friend groups that were negative and that was their way of functioning, then you might have gotten into the habit of looking for negative things and saying, yeah, why? Yeah, you, yeah, right? And for what our brain has a capacity to do is to right, neuroplasticity and neural pathways is to build new pathways. So let's take, for example, that your road and your neural pathways and is as a freeway, and you've been driving this freeway your whole life. You're like, I'm on the freeway and I'm going fast and everything's good because our brain loves habits. 90% of what we do every day, 90% of what we do every day is habit because our brain is an energy hog and it likes to shift to autopilot. So anytime it can, it will shift to autopilot. And if that autopilot is like negative thought, then well, let's do it. Negative thought, autopilot. So what science has told us and the advice or the lesson that I've learned, what I would give is take a really good look and say, does this highway serve me? Is this highway
Mm.
going where I need it to go? Is this highway going in the direction I need it to go? Or have I just been driving this freeway because it's the easiest, quickest, fastest way to get there? Now I might take a look at that route and go, huh, that route's a scenic route. It's going to take me a little longer, but it's much more worthwhile. And now I take a look at that road and I enter that dirt road, right? The road less traveled,
Yeah,
the dirt road that looks
yeah.
maybe a little precarious, looks maybe a little dangerous, a little not
Mm.
sure of, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that road might serve me. So maybe I take a look at that pathway and I enter it. And now I realize once I've entered it, wow, this is a much more beautiful route. It's a road
Mm.
filled with possibility and
Wow.
positivity and hope. And
Yes,
it's beautiful
yes.
and it's scenic and it's wonderful. And then once I've traveled that road, then I can bring others along to travel with me. And once we begin to travel that road, this is why I believe in generational legacy. And everything that I do is for my great, 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 great grandkids who I will never meet, is that as I travel that road, then maybe my great, great, great grandchildren choose to turn that dirt road now into a highway. And now their super highway is going towards
Look at you.
positivity and growth and well being, right? And so so the
And
advice I don't have much of, but with the neuroscience in our brain and everything that I've learned, right? I'm like 2 classes into my doctoral program, so I'm going to be Dr. Sotelo in 3 years,
look at
and I'll be
you.
talking more about growth mindset in my dissertation. I'm so excited to talk about how generational wellness and growth mindset can be built and we can form habits and we can say, that highway that I was told to walk on doesn't serve me anymore. That big 6 lane highway full of negativity and fear and resistance and survival mode, it doesn't serve me anymore. It's okay for me to be the lone traveler on the road less taken. And it's okay for me to do the scenic route. And it's okay for me to have wonder and beauty and awe and possibility. And you know what? I'm gonna bring some friends along and some great, 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 great grandkids along. And eventually that beautiful scenic route is my highway, right? So yeah, so that's what I look forward to doing is building a highway of hope and possibility and joy for my great, 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 great grandkids.
That's really deep and really, really well explained, like very in depth, like the way that you explain all this. Like it was very beautiful. So thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. It was
Yeah.
very touching too, just to think of like what you're doing for the next generations, not only thinking about yourself, it's just something a lot bigger than just you. So it's very like, man, people need to rewind that for sure. I'm gonna rewind that because that was
Rewind
so
that.
good.
Watch that. You're the
Yeah,
first person to
yeah.
ever hear that. It literally just came into my brain as you asked the question. So,
So good. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
very insightful. I love it. So for for the people out there that, are like thinking about doing something that, is gonna be like out of the norm, that are thinking like, I want to reinvent myself. I've been thinking about starting that business. I've been thinking about writing that book. I've been thinking about doing this. Like, what kind of like words of encouragement will you give to that person that's been thinking about it? Um, like just to kind of close it out, like anything that you would like to share with those people that are thinking about like whether taking the leap or taking like some doing something um like for their greatness or themselves, like what kind of advice would you give them just to kind of close it out?
Yeah, for sure. So, first thing, if anyone's listening, I believe in you.
Mm,
Let me see your bracelet, Andres. It is
yeah,
uh,
always.
always, right? It only takes one person to believe to make great things happen. And if that person
Yes.
is you, if you believe in yourself, that's really all you need. But if you need me to believe in you, I'm going to believe in you. And if you need Andreas to believe in you, we got three. Okay. So we got three people. You believe in yourself. I'll believe in you. Andreas will believe in you. Because what we know and what science tells us is that our brain is a remarkable, remarkable supercomputer, right? People can learn new languages, people can learn new skill. In my last workshop that I did, Reframe, Reset, Rise, it was funny because I was standing up there and I was doing a session with the University of Arizona uh, in the Crossroads conference, and I was like, "How we have this thing called Dual on our phone where you have to like." Validate yourself. Like, yes, I am really the person who I said I am. I was like, how many of you, like 20 years ago, know how to use a duo authentication? And like zero. Like there's like 60 people in this session, zero people raise their hand. And then I was like, okay, how many people in this room know how to use the Duo app to authenticate yourself? And like 100%, right? Like, well,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
proof positive, we can learn things, right? Like
Yep.
5 years ago or 10 years ago, like you and I probably 10 years ago, you and I weren't hanging out on Zoom. And then we had this horrible thing called the pandemic, and we kind of learned and then it became like our modality in our communication, right? And so what we know to be true is we were babies once we learned how to walk, right?
Mm,
We learned how to walk. We went to kindergarten terrified that we were going to be the only people who didn't know how to read. And then all of a sudden we learned how to read somehow between kinder and like now as adults. And, we learned how to walk, we learned how to talk, we learned how to read, we learned how to use Excel spreadsheets, learned how to use online banking and Google Pay. Learned how to use a smart tap on our phone. Like our brain is amazing. It has the
yeah,
capacity to learn new things. The
absolutely.
only thing that you need to do, so those of you who are thinking about starting a business, those of you who are thinking about writing a book, those of you that are thinking about whatever you're going full time with your art habit hobby and turning your hobby into a business or opening an Etsy shop, which is amazing. I know so many people who do that. Being an artist, being an illustrator, being a musician, doing whatever it is that makes your heart happy, whatever your gift is with the world, then believe in yourself and you have the ability to do it. And before we
Yes.
got before we went live on this and I talked about art, are tricks. Like I have a to-do list that has like 37 things on it, but I narrowed it down to three to-dos before I leave today. And I
Okay.
have like three things to do this weekend. And, I just like small wins, small wins, and celebrate
Absolutely.
yourself. The way that celebrations work is the dopamine to your brain helps you be grateful and have
Yes.
gratitude and move on to the next thing. So just start small. So if you want to write a book, then just write one page and see if I can write one page, then I'm going to celebrate. And write a page and then celebrate. If you want to do the Tour de Tucson, which I registered for in November, and I have not ridden my bike for like a month. So y'all, guess what? I'm still going to do it. Because I'm going to start small, right? Like when the weather cools down a little, or I'm going to wake up earlier.
There you go.
I'm just going to do it. I'm going to be like, I'm going to ride 10 minutes a day. And then once I'm done 10 minutes a day, it's like, I'm going to ride 20 minutes a day. And once I'm done with 20 minutes a day, I don't need to be ready for the tour in November today. But I know that and I'm only doing like the 30 miler, so I'm fine.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
lot. That's still a lot.
right. But
Yes,
it's
me.
like, put your goal out there. What is it that you've always wanted to do and start
Mm.
small? If I can do 30 miles this year, maybe I'll do 60 next year. Maybe eventually I'll do the 120, but if I don't, that's fine too. Like, don't judge yourself or don't tell yourself bad things about yourself. Just celebrate yourself. Celebrate the things that you can do, the things that you have done, and the potential that you have to do. So I believe in you. If you want to open your business, call me up, let me know. Andres and I have some experience in that. I've done a lot of things wrong, by the way, but I've learned from them. There's so much I've learned this year and a half about having an LLC and having my own business and my own PO box. And but I've learned a lot. Uh, just like I said, finished my second class of being a doctoral student. If y'all follow me on Facebook, you'll say I don't know how to write a dissertation yet. I probably learned about 30 new words this week that I have no idea what I'm going to do with those words, but I wrote them down. And like in 3 years, you can ask me about them and I'm going to know them, right? Our brain
There you
has a
go.
capacity to do amazing, awesome, wonderful, fabulous things. Just do it, step into your greatness. The story that I love to tell and that's in this book is that we each have a light within us, like a candle, right? And when we have that candle, it makes the room brighter. It makes the room, you could see everyone smile and joy and community. And when you take that candle and you share your light with someone, now they have a light and the candle is illuminating for two people, and it doesn't diminish my light, right? Does not diminish my light when I share my light with you. And when you share that light with someone else, then now there's three of us are sharing it. The room is
Mhm.
brighter, there's more joy, there's more community. And so take whatever your light is, whatever gives you joy, whatever gives you happiness, start small, write a small goal, and then step into your greatness and believe in yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. We could be here all day.
We could.
Me and Diana, every time these are the conversations we have, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I definitely enjoy her company because we just talk about this stuff that we love. We geek out on this stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
this is definitely our jam. But so Diana, for anybody that would like to get a hold of you, that would like to use your services for speaking or anything else, like how can they get a hold of
Yeah, for sure. So pretty easy to find. Just Google Diane Sotelo or
you?
Sotelo
Nice.
Synergies and it will come right up. Sotelosynergies.com or Sotelosynergies at gmail.com. And
Perfect.
yeah, just, find me. I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Instagram. And
Nice.
I just love my community. I love helping my community. I love working with people like yourself. And because it took me a long time to figure out how to reframe my negativity and to reset into positivity and to rise to be into my own great sense of greatness, step into my own self. I love to help people so that hopefully they don't have to struggle through the 30 odd years, 3 decades of struggling through being okay with yourself. So, yeah.
Love it. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, Diane, thank you again for sharing your amazing resources with us. I really enjoyed our time together. And also, thank you, the listener, for tuning in to Reinvent Yourself, Discovering Your Higher Purpose podcast. We will be seeing you on the next episode. Peace.